Hey everybody watching the VOD, welcome to the Giant Bomb Community Dota 2 tournament. I am OP casting with my friend Mousecop aka Tim. We're in the middle of the pick bands watching CSS versus POTMs up. Both these teams today beating the previous Mouse House in their games today. So exciting to see two winners go against each other in a true match of skill. Tim, discuss the pick bands that we're seeing.
Well, it was going pretty standard until this fourth picks for both teams. You get a Life Stealer coming up. He's not been too popular for carry, and then the Zeus for the just pure magic damage. We were talking about a lot of Void's typical partners getting picked by CSS or banned out. You know, the Skywrath Mage, the Enigma, the Witch Doctor, Death Prophet, Tidehunter. How about Zeus? That's one you don't really think about too often, but man, he could do a lot of burst damage. Prono.
I mean, so with the Zeus, I think they're looking to beat the Skywrath in mid, not give him a free time. He's got great range and just a strong nuke if the silence doesn't come out first. So, hoping to probably pick off people like the Shadow Shaman and the Skywrath with that ultimate. So and allowing the Zeus passive, the static field in the fight, you know, will end up doing a lot of damage when Zeus gets that mana pool to start spamming his spells in fights.
Yeah.
Reserve time.
Like the combo with Lightning Bolt and Zeus Bolt can just really do a ton of damage to that Skywrath. They're just so paper thin. Can't really survive that nuke damage.
I mean, you have to look at it this way too. They're looking to pick up people who synergize with the Faceless. They need people who don't need to do melee damage, who can sit out at range and nuke people down. So Zeus fits in here. Life Stealer being picked up by CSS, hoping to use the rage to alleviate some of the frustration that's going to come out from Doom and from Rubik and Zeus even. And Dragonite being picked up by CSS. We're going to see a push lineup from CSS.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to put the Skywrath more of into support role, Dragonite mid. And, you know, another tanky core to try and survive that Zeus burst damage.
The Zeus damage, everybody.
Yeah. Because, yeah, all three cores now for CSS are strength, assuming Tidehunter is the offlaner. So, they're hoping to just be able to survive that initial burst damage.
So Zeus passive here is actually going to be dishing a lot of damage out if he's fighting inside the 5-man of CSS.
It's going to be hard to, though. If Life Stealer is able to get in there with Rage, he can negate a lot of that Zeus damage. Here we go, starting off. Introduce CSS on the Dire. We have Dig on Skywrath Mage, Boxer 13 on the Dragonite, Evil the Slayers taking up the Tidehunter, Ben AM on the Shadow Shaman. Wonder if he'll get Bloodstone again.
Yeah, that being a fun build from the last game. Going Bloodstone first and not even finishing Boots last game on the Shadow Shaman.
Yeah. For going up against him on POTMs up, on the Radiant we have Neurosmus on the mid Zeus. We've got Target, looks like he's going to be taking the off lane on the Void. Safe lane will be Rise Kuchikawa, the stand-in on the Doom. Genile, not sure how to pronounce that, is on the Sand King. And Muhi is on the Rubik.
Rubik going
level 1 engagement.
Rubik going Magic Stick. Okay, level 1. Getting the Doom. Doom probably first blood here. Just a lot of level 1. Yeah, a lot of level 1 damage. A lot of great slow stun on CSS. Just going into that jungle and saying, hey, if we find someone, they're dead. And just grabbing them and doing damage.
They're also going to take away a couple of the camps there. The pull camp is pretty big, and then taking away this big camp. It's taking away creeps that Doom could devour, and it's also taking away stacks, possibly from the Sand King.
So it looks like CSS deciding to run that Skywrath as a support in lane instead of a big mid nuker. I think a good choice here considering the Zeus matchup in lane.
They're also running aggressive tri-lane here, which is really going to be tough for this Doom to do anything, and it might force Sand King to come out. They did deward this Magic Bush ward, but it might force Sand King into lane, not let him farm those jungle camps with Sandstorm.
So what I think is interesting here, putting the Doom in this lane instead of the Faceless, is that Faceless is in lane against Tidehunter. And I don't think that's the worst lane for Faceless Void compared to an aggressive tri-lane.
Yeah, it's not ideal. You know, Tidehunter does well one-on-ones against melee with Anchor Smash, but it's better than getting completely shit on like he will at bottom.
Yeah, I mean, I think just forcing Doom kind of to get level 6 a little bit later is worth the sacrifice to try to get a lot of big items on your Faceless Void, and I don't know if that was intentional, if Doom the stand-in was planning to go off lane, and then they made the swap, or if this was their intended lane matchup. Shadow Shaman getting picked up by the Rubik. Sand King too far away to stun, and possibly a little bit too scared. Don't want to get silenced and nuked out by that Skywrath mage, even though he's only level 1 and only had concussive shots. So maybe could have gone in there and got a second blood against the Shadow Shaman.
Right now, looking at the early laning, Zeus doing extremely well mid against the Dragon Knight. Got 16 last hits compared to Dragon Knight's 7. Already got that bottle. Looks like he's going to be doing some bottle crowing.
Yeah, this is just POTMs kind of being like, we gave up first blood, you know, we need to reset, we need to focus on the lanes that we can win. You know, Void not losing too hard in CSS to the Tidehunter, so them just kind of saying, let's try to win our two okay lanes and just have the tri-lane hold on and try to ride to the late game. Skywrath Mage coming in from the bottom lane behind the Zeus looking for a gank. I don't know if he's going to find it here if Zeus walks back to the tower, which it looks like he may do. He may be safe here against the nuke.
So Skywrath Mage, no Arcane Bolt yet. He skilled that concussive shot for the level 1 fight and then decides to go with the silence.
Well, the silence increases the Ancestral Seal increases magic damage done, so that's going to let the Flame Breath from Dragonite do a lot more damage to Zeus than it should at level 1, or at level 3 here, Dragonite choosing to max Flame Breath first against this hard spell ranged lineup.
Zeus seems to know what's up. He's staying back, and it looks like Skywrath's giving up on this. He's gonna go camp the bottom rune.
Yeah, Sand King getting the double pull here. Skywrath coming in and gonna eat some of this experience or try to stop this pull from happening.
It looks like he blocked the big camp here from stacking. So that's hurting Sand King's farm. Gonna be a late blink dagger for him.
Sand King still only level 2, needs that magic level 3 in Sandstorm to start to solo farm the jungle a lot easier. Lifestealer finishing his phase boots, gonna allow him to poke in and out of this Doom Rubik kind of duo bottom lane. Void having Morbid Mask and Poor Man's Shield, opting to go Morbid Mask over Boots even against this Tidehunter, which is going to let him kind of take a little bit more than Anchor, Smash, Harass, and keep farm up.
Yeah, he doesn't really need the boots right now. They're not really ganking him. That Morbid Mask does let him regen some of that health he's losing from the Harass.
Skywrath going up again at the Zeus. The Zeus diving the Dragonite mid and getting the kill. Using that ultimate, hitting level 7, I think level 6 at the tower for the dive. Great plays from the Zeus, just kind of winning a lane that is a pretty easy matchup for Zeus, and just putting the pressure back on CSS to make something happen mid lane for the Dragonite.
Yeah, and as poor as the start seemed to be for POTMs up, they've really come back well. This aggressive tri-lane has done not much of anything. You know, Lifestealer is out farming the Doom, but not by much, considering how much stronger their lane was. And the Void's keeping up, and like I said, Zeus winning mid.
Zeus probably getting ganked here mid, yeah. Dragonite using the Flame Breath. Zeus getting really low, using that bottle. Maybe getting a revenge call on the Dragonite, but no. Nuked down by the Skywrath mage. Skywrath, great early level 3 nuke against a low HP. Faceless Void thinking about jumping in and chronoing that lineup, though. Really, really close to deciding to jump in, but he was spotted out by that ward.
Yeah, and Dragonite had a salve to regen his health. The key for that fight was Skywrath hitting level 3, so he had that Arcane Bolt. If he doesn't have that Arcane Bolt, I don't think they get the kill.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I think just Faceless is just waiting to pull the trigger on that chrono. He wants to get a chrono with Skywrath and another low HP hero and start building kills, allowing him to get bigger items. You know, he's not beating the Tidehunter in the farm war in the top lane here, but very few melee heroes will. But he's not being totally shut down in his lane either, which is what's going to allow him to get those scary items and start ganking the squishier heroes in the lanes.
Yeah, he either needs to get that Mask of Madness or he needs someone else to help him. He's not going to kill Tidehunter, obviously. Chrono, especially at level 8.
Skywrath sitting in the river, spotted out by the ward. Tidehunter with the Ravage, so possibly a kill if the Faceless were to just step in the wrong place here. In the bottom lane, Doom trying to hold on to some farm in this bottom lane. Lifestealer just getting pretty much free farm. Faceless with the TP, looking to jump in and chrono, but being spotted out, or you know, the Lifestealer Shadow Shaman figuring out something's up.
Look, they're abandoning this top lane for now. Tidehunter or Skywrath, not exactly a ton of push. Anchor Smash does clear waves a little bit, but they're just gonna slowly siege this tower down.
Yeah, I think this is just Faceless getting excited for level 6 level setting. Get it, wanting to make something happen with the chrono, but the map and the vision from CSS just not letting that happen, not making that, you know, available unless he TPs bottom and catches somebody out pushing too far, which they haven't done yet.
Wonder if Doom's going for Midas here. He's sitting on 1800 gold, brown boots in his inventory.
I mean, Doom on Midas, they don't have a strong early game lineup to begin with, so Midas here wouldn't be awful. Lifestealer going Yasha, so probably Sajin Yasha build here on the Lifestealer.
Thank you.
I like to get like we were saying last game, Luna getting the drums wasn't a good thing. I like getting the drums on Lifestealer. If you're gonna go Sajin Yasha, just go full race car.
Zeus getting the kill on the Tidehunter in the top lane. Ravage not being used defensively, so
that's pretty surprising, actually.
yeah. Oh, initiated on the Faceless Void here, being silenced so he can't get that chrono up. Silence wearing off just in time for him to jump out.
He was a backtrack god there.
Yeah.
He was on his side. I think he backtracked like 3 hits in a row, it seemed like.
And really unfortunate for the Skywrath not to get this kill. That would have been a huge kill. That would have put him closer to that level 6, closer to that Mystic Flare, which is going to keep somebody alive in a Chrono, maybe. Skywrath rotating bottom instead. Look like they're setting up a dive on this Doom with 4 bottom. Ravage up. Gush on the Doom. Lifestealer trying to get in range, trying to auto-attack. Chrono being used under the tower. Catching the Lifestealer. Auto-attacking, hoping for a proc. Doom on the Tidehunter. Beautiful Sand King ult. Catching the Skywrath Mage. Shadow Shaman getting picked off before the fight even begins down there. And a Tidehunter going down to a Doom Zeus combo. So 4-man kill in the bottom lane. 4 bottoms up against CSS.
Yeah, just a disastrous dive. Trying to go under tower and not getting any kills. Just not being able to focus anybody down, allowing the Sand King to get off that epicenter. It's just so strong, and then Tidehunter being doomed before being able to use Ravage. About as bad as it gets for CSS.
The advantage that they had been working on in lane, I think, was just lost in this engagement. Faceless Void had been holding this Chrono, waiting for the opportunity, waiting for overextension, had the TP scroll ready, and as soon as he just had the glimmer of a dive, was ready to TP in Chrono.
Yeah, so now bottoms up with all the momentum here. And another kill for Zeus.
This Zeus
Blowing up.
Yeah, getting a lot of great pickoffs here. Synergizing with Faceless in a way where he doesn't need to be there to get kills. Faceless can just kill people, and he can just kill people. Doom again on the Tidehunter with the Zeus nukes. I think Tidehunter's gonna die to the Doom here. Zeus also picking off the Skywrath.
Yeah, Tidehunter just not a happy day for him, as he hasn't been able to use Ravage yet.
Yeah, I mean every time the Tidehunter looks like he's ready to engage, just Ravage goes off. Immediately.
Tower is
Oh
under
my,
attack.
that burst damage. One lightning bolt took out a lot of damage on that Lifestealer, and again on the Shadow Shaman. He uses wards and still dies.
Maybe getting the
Not
Zeus,
even get
Zeus
the return
80
kill.
HP. Not quite.
Tidehunter looking for a return kill. He's not going to find one.
He's got that Ravage. He's ready to go. About 1,000 gold away from a Blink Dagger, so just gotta go up there and walk into Doom range and get doomed.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, I gotta say, Zeus is not a pick you see too often in pro games, but every time he's been picked in this Giant Bomb tournament so far, he has done a lot of work. That burst damage is no joke.
I mean, you think like, oh, Skywrath is gonna counter this Zeus, but by the time Skywrath gets up to the Zeus to cast spells, Skywrath is already at half HP.
Even below half. That lightning bolt, max lightning bolt does 350 plus the 540 from the ult. And Skywrath has 701 health. So a lightning bolt ult combo kills Skywrath.
I'm thinking it's time for Skywrath to pick up some branches here.
Dire's bottom tower
just
is
hang
under
on.
attack.
Get as many branches as possible. Looks like he's just going for the arcane boots.
Now here would have been
It's
a
about
great
10 gold
position for CSS to be able to push here, but they had already used all their spells. Sand King blinking in, only catching one, a really important one, the Lifestealer with
Dire's
Q,
bottom tower
Rubik
is
picking
under
him up,
attack.
infesting a creep, turning around to try to attack the Rubik instead of run away and being Zeus ulted down. Sand King blinking in again
Yeah,
on
they
the
saw-
Shadow Shaman.
Dire's bottom
There's
tower
finally
is
a
under
Ravage,
attack.
and they're gonna blow up the Rubik, and it looks like they're gonna get the Zeus here.
Down in my pride.
Yeah, he was killed, but the gold gets
Dire's
split between
bottom tower
Tidehunter and
has
Skywrath.
fallen.
Just the creep got the last hit. They spent a lot of time chasing that
Dire's
Zeus.
top tower is under attack.
Finally
Yeah.
able to get him.
Void, in the meantime, free farming, taking the bottom tower.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And he's going for a Maelstrom. So he's going to have a lot of attack speed. Still just
Radiant's
seeing on brown
middle
boots. I
tower
don't know
is
what it
under
is with
attack.
people not wanting to get
Why
treads.
upgrade your boots whenever you can just kill people? I mean, honestly, he has Time Walk, he has Chrono, and
Dire's
his
top
team
tower is under
has a
attack.
Rubik to initiate for them, and a Sand King with Blink Dagger. So boots, maybe I could understand why it wouldn't be first priority, but he's probably getting boots next.
Yeah, like treads, that attack speed helps out so much in the Chrono. Like just getting that 30 attack speed.
Here's the dive on the Tide. Doom on the Tidehunter again. 4th time Tidehunter has been doomed. A magnet
Yeah.
for that Doom.
They just don't like the Tidehunter. The hate for the Tidehunter.
I mean, and that's what you
Didn't
have to
even-
do. Like, you have to make the Tidehunter just unable to group with his team because they don't want to get chronoed. They're not
Radiant's
able to
bottom tower
to
is
push
under
because
attack.
they're using all their ultimates
Dire's
defensively.
top tower is
And
under attack.
that's making space for Void to just free farm it and get his Maelstrom up. Zeus getting
So
Ags.
It was not Midas for Doom. He picks up a Blink Dagger and then grabs a Mystic Staff, which is interesting.
Instant nuke down on the Shadow Shaman before the TPs could come out. No Ravage on cooldown for 20 seconds, but it doesn't even matter as Void Chronos in with the Zeus nukes and the Sand King ultimate, just
Dire's
totally
middle tower
wiping
is under
whatever
attack.
was thrown at them in this middle lane.
They were able to kill Doom off top. He almost got a return kill on the Skywrath. Skywrath had less than 100 health, but was able to TP away.
Zeus ult.
Looks like Doom...
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Yeah, he already used it. But the Doom looks like he's building the Shiva. It's interesting to go for the Mystic Staff first. Usually you want to get the armor.
He
Radiant's
probably
top
feels
tower
like he
is
needs
under
more
attack.
mana to spam his spells in the
Radiant
spell-heavy
structures
lineup.
are fortified.
Zeus trying to find a ward with the regeneration rune. A
Radiant's
tower
top tower
finally
has
going
fallen.
down for the Radiant. The Dire finally hitting that lineup of dragon form, keeping the Shasha wards up, realizing they didn't need to use those, which is pretty smart.
So smart.
I mean, that's going to allow him to defensively use it in another team fight is probably the way it's going to be used, but probably should be used for pushing a tower instead.
Yeah, so if we look, Void finishing up that Maelstrom, and he does buy the power treads. So he's pretty scary. That's a scary Void to have. Treads, Masks of Madness, Maelstrom at 19 minutes. Wonder what he'll go next. He could go for the Ag
Dire's
Scepter. He
bottom
could
tower
finish
is
the
under
Mjolnir.
attack.
Could go
Sa-
BKB.
Sand King going my favorite build of Veil of Discord, which is going to synergize really well with the Zeus. Zeus also doing a lot of spell damage, so going to be a pretty big item
We have
pickup.
the Smoke Gang coming out here. 4-man as the Lifestealers infested in the Dragon Knight, and they're going to find Rubik, and that's a dead Rubik.
Maybe the Chrono's
Although
probably coming up
Void-
right here. The 4-man
Oh,
Chrono.
he doesn't have the attack damage.
Zeus
Oh,
ulting, the health just melting from the Radiant, or from the Dire, as the Skywrath ultimate gets channeled, but to no avail.
They do kill off the Void, and it ends up being a 4 for 2.
Dire's top tower
That
is
magic
under
damage
attack.
coming out from Zeus and then the Sand King is just nasty. And yeah, once he does finish that Veil, it's going to be disgusting. The damage.
Tidehunter finally getting Blink Dagger at the 20-minute mark, hoping now that Chrono's down, maybe a good counter initiation, maybe not immediately getting doomed before he can cast Ravage.
Yeah, and it looks like Zeus already has that Ag Scepter. I don't know if we mentioned that.
Yeah.
He's starting to build the Refresher Orb. He has the Oblivion Staff up. Once he gets that, like Skywrath is just dead to a Refresher Zeus ult. Same with Shadow Shaman. They're both just dead. And that's a lot of damage coming out onto the Dragon Knight and the Lifestealer. Lifestealer will probably be able to avoid the second one as he can just rage through it, but...
Yeah, I mean, the Zeus... I mean, the smoke gank was what CSS needed to try to do. They needed to try to find the Faceless in the jungle, but instead they found the Rubik, which is not the target that they wanted to pick off there. The Zeus
they weren't able to kill him quick enough.
Yeah, and the Zeus ultimate just immediately... Veil of Discord finishing on the Sand King, so huge.
We have a Chrono mid. He's just going to kill the Shadow Shaman off, and then they're also going to get the Tidehunter as well as the Shadow Shaman.
Elder Dragon form being used, stunning up the Doom under the tower, but not getting the kill. Being picked up, Sand King stunned. Faceless coming in, hoping to be Bash Lord, but instead being nuked down by the Zeus. Faceless stealing the last hit there.
Lifestealer barely surviving. One more tick of the Doom, he would have died. He ends up living with 20 HP, but he has to crawl back to base to heal. And that's going to be a mid-tower. And possibly Roche. They could turn around and just Roche here.
Middle tower has fallen.
And I think that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, that Roshan on the Faceless just is going to be the trigger to be pulled to push the high ground here for the Radiant.
Yeah, I'm really surprised how well this game has gone. Like we said at the beginning, it was such a rough start for Bottoms Up. It looked like their lanes were going to struggle, and I think it was that failed dive on that bottom tier 1 tower that really turned it around.
I mean, the Tidehunter not taking a surmountable advantage over the Faceless, and no gank attempts being attempted up there, and with Tidehunter having to spam that anchor smash to force Faceless out of lane, force the creep to be pushed up also. So in a way, to try to win the lane, he gave Faceless the room to farm. Which is not what he wanted to do. The Faceless should have been shut down, should have not been able to get Maelstrom before 10 minutes.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, and it looks like Void picking up the Demon Edge, so maybe going for crit, maybe going for a Rapier. I hope it's a Rapier.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
If he goes Rapier and dies, and it goes to the Lifestealer, that would be incredible. We'll see, though.
I think that might be the only way back for CSS, if he feeds a Rapier.
Or the Dragon Knight with Dragon form would also be a pretty decent Rapier target. Rubik doing a lot to increase the push rate of the Radiant with that level 4 Breathe Fire.
Yeah, we really haven't seen Rubik get any big spell steals yet. Void jumping in, but not going to find anybody.
Well, he hasn't been able to because they've just been dooming the Tidehunter.
Yeah, they've just been blowing everybody up, so like Rubik can't find any spells to steal. I want him to get the dragon form. He turns into a little dragon. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, we'll see, as it looks like the Radiant Bottoms Up are getting ready to push this T3. I think Rubik's going to try to drop one of these wards in the base there.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can place it from the low ground there, right in that.
I think he doesn't want them to see. But we see CSS smoking up, desperation smoke here, defensive smoke.
Looks like Tidehunter might want to blink in and try and ravage.
Rubik actually spots out the smoke, forces the smoke off the Tidehunter.
And he does drop the ward, so now they have full vision up there. And here comes the Void. He's going to jump in. Doom comes out on Tidehunter. Burrow Strike, Epicenter, Thunder God's Wrath. They're all dead.
The Veil of Discord increasing that Zeus damage so much. GG.
Yeah. That was just
Radiant victory.
so much burst damage. The fight started and it was over within 3 seconds.
Well, we see POTMs up exercising some incredible comeback skill. Faceless just having the patience to wait to use that Chronosphere, just waiting for the overextension. And, you know, CSS did it. They dove the Doom under the tower and they paid the price. It cost them the whole game.
Yeah, I think we saw, like, in the first 2 games, they were out drafts. This game, I felt like the draft was pretty even and it was just outplayed for POTMs up.
Yeah, POTMs
well
up.
played by them.
Yeah, just waiting and having the patience required. So, thank you for watching the Giant Bomb Community Dota 2 tournament. I am OP, casting with Mousecop aka Tim. Thank you for watching and see you next time.
Bye!